Hello, awesome people. I hope you're having a great day today. Today we're taking a look at Doom of the Darksword, the 1988 novel. It's the middle novel in the Darksword trilogy by Margaret Weis and Tracy Hickman. So we're going to be taking a closer look at this trilogy right now that I'm showing you. I've already done Forging the Darksword, which I read over vacation and spring break on the last couple of days there and flying back home. I've also currently 100 pages into Triumph of the Darksword, which is the final novel, written a few months after Doom. And then this book was also right now that I'm reading right now. And then this book is a book we're reviewing for you today. Now, all of these books, like the previous books that we did by Margaret Weis and Tracy Hickman, were all written very, very quickly. Forging the Darksword is published in late AD 7, and both the next books in the trilogy were written in 1988 within a few months of each other. So they're being published very quick clip. And so I went there and read this trilogy when I was in junior high after reading the 6 books that we've already read for you by Margaret Weis and Tracy Hickman to launch off their writing career in the Dragonlance series. And then we're moving to the Darksword trilogy after doing a few books in the Dragonlance series. Exactly what I did organically. I read a bunch of books in the Dragonlance series, like The Legend of Huma and Chasm and Tar that I've already reviewed for you, the 6 Preludes, the Tales trilogy that has a bunch of short stories in it and those sorts of things in Dragonlance. And then I moved on and kept loyal with Margaret Weis and Tracy Hickman, and then I did the Darksword trilogy in junior high. Now, I've never gone back and reread the Darksword trilogy since junior high. So I wanted to read it for you now. Now, as you can see, even though I've only read this now twice, man, this book is beat up. As you can see. So that's pretty cool. So I'm reading the same copy that I've read and kept with me all these years and decades because I wanted to get a fresh perspective on this stuff. Now, if you've already reviewed Forging the Darksword, which I will link you to in case you hadn't, one of the things you'll notice is that I really am fond of this trilogy by Margaret Weis and Tracy Hickman. As a reminder, I gave each of the books in the first trilogy 7s in the Dragonlance Chronicles. The sequel book I gave 6s to. These I'm giving a 7 to the first one, and I'm giving a 7, probably more like a 7 plus, more like a 7.4, 7.3, but rounding it down to a 7, but it's a 7 plus. Because the world building is so much better. This world is so much more unique than Kryn. Kryn is pretty much a bog standard fantasy world that's created by the Dragonlance publishing stuff, and it doesn't have a whole lot of unique takes. It does have the occasional different take, like their halflings are different, their kinder, and so forth. But for the most part, they're really different. These two worlds are, and could not be on almost different genres. And this is a different take on fantasy, a different concept. And the core idea in the Darksword world is that there are these 8 different types of magic that represent elements. So you have the 4 elements: fire, water, earth, and air, and then you have shadow, which is the element of the illusionists that make different things and are the plays and the playwrights, and the writers and the artists. And then there is life, and those are the catalysts. That's actually pretty rare. The catalysts give life to others, but have very little magic themselves. They're like basically walking batteries and can amp your spells up. They're like little boosters. So they're really powerful. But that's actually a pretty rare gift. Fire is also really rare too, just like life, and is the domain of warriors, war masters, the enforcers of the world, and they're kept apart from everybody else. They have their own secret order. Water is the healers. They are the healers, and they're also field magi who work out in the agricultural fields that are water magi. Earth is the most common. Those are the shapers, the people that make objects out using magic from one piece that's brought out of the earth. Those are the shapers. They're also field magi too, that grow and plant crops and so forth without a plow, without just doing it magically. And then the other element is air, and those are the weather masters. They're the ones that make weather for the crops. Rain when rain is needed, sunshine when sunshine is needed. In the capital city of Maryland, which is a dome city kept inside a magic dome, they keep the world permanently spring, because that's the season that the emperor loves. So, since it's his home city, even when it's winter outside, which is pretty cool. So that's sort of how the elementals play out in the world, what their roles are, and so forth. And then there are three other symbols. Two of them are gone after the Iron Wars a few hundred years ago, which is a cataclysmic event that happened in this world. One of those is death, and those are one of those is the spirit, and those are those that communicate with the dead, rather, and are given a lot of you can talk to your dead, you can communicate with your dead, they did communicate with the undead, and so forth. And then the other one is time, and those were the diviners, the people that those also created these portals from different places that you can still ride and maintain with catalysts. But they are the ones that created the corridor system of mass transit. But they're all gone. They're both, and then the last one is death, and those are the technologists, the sorcerers. Those are the masters of making things with your hands, giving life to the dead, rather than giving life to the living. Which is considered a sin now. They were the big bads behind the Iron Wars. They've been kicked out, banished, and sent to the Outlands to live in this nasty colony. But they are here. That is the technology of death, and you'll learn as the world building continues that we everybody in this world came through a portal that seems like it's Earth. And basically, what's going to wind up happening is that it's going to end up seeing that Earth. You're going to find out, for example, in the second book early on, that there is a tomb of Merlin in the capital city of Maryland that has a cool place, and Merlin is basically the leader of the people that brought us here, and we were. And the magic people were really kind of killed and tortured and punished and attacked in the world that they came from, which sounds like Earth. And then they fled the world of technology, which is Earth, and then they came here. So it clearly seems like they came from an Earth or an Earth-like realm and used a magic portal to come to this world and then live. And then there's a lot of different things that you'll learn about from how did they give birth, because they don't have sex to these different, which they consider sinful, and so forth. So there's a lot of cool, interesting developments and tweaks that happens as a result of this living in a world of life where everybody's born with the ability to do different magical things. That's pretty cool. So I appreciate the world building that happens here, and I think there's really strong stuff. Now, the first book developed characters, put them in different places, and so forth. And the second book, about 2/3 of it's the politics of Maryland, of the capital city, and the city-state, as well as the first part is a sort of travelogue through the world and through the Outlands, in particular, where they're fleeing from a technologist colony that they were all at, where they killed the big man at the end of the first novel, and now they're moving through. So that's sort of the basic sort of plot points that's happening in this structure. It's basically a social structure of the world building, particularly in the city-state and capital of Maryland. And then that's it. That's it. And then you find out at the end what's going to happen to our main characters. And that's it. That's the sort of structure of the review of the story. Now, this was a New York Times bestseller, hit number 9 on the New York Times chart, so that's pretty cool. Giving it an 8+, rather 7+, so running it down to a 7. Again, so there you are. That is Doom of the Darksword. Have you read this novel? If so, what did you think about it? Reminder, I like to keep my reviews spoiler-free, but if you want to talk about spoilers, please feel encouraged to do so in the comments below. If you like this video, why not hit that subscribe button? There's going to be a lot more of these to follow. And then finally, I want to thank you so much for taking some time out of your day and investing it in watching my video. We all have so many things that are happening in our lives, and we're pulled in so many different directions. So the fact that you spent this time with me is incredible. incredibly humbling. And I appreciate it. So thanks again, and have an amazing day.